You have to have some sympathy for the pharmaceutical companies, all right? They just took a big hit this week.
No
Because
worries.
Joe Rogan sent a text to Donald Trump, all right?
Yes.
He has signed...
Only up and up. All right, let's
do it. Yeah.
As good as it is, it's still fucking dumb.
It's
It's new, all right?
yeah, and it's all
Hungry men can't be
Medical.
picky tractor.
Yeah, it's
Stuff,
all
right?
no, it's all
Like,
pretty solid. I mean,
yeah.
what's happened allegedly is Rogan has sent Trump some fucking material and literature on psychedelics and the virtues of it and
all big
what's
DMT
been
stuff,
worked with
isn't
it. Yeah, it's all sorts of things to it. But in particular, it's about the veterans dealing
Yeah.
with PTSD and alcoholism and addictions in general.
Yeah,
And
well,
they're using the psychedelics to treat that.
yeah.
So that's what he sent to Trump. And Trump has apparently signed the executive, well, apparently he signed an executive
And
order
mushrooms?
trying to speed up the testing process
Yeah,
and get them to market.
which,
You can't eat jokes.
again, anyone out there that hasn't seen it, get on Netflix, check out How to Change Your Mind. It's a little series about this exact thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rogan's talking DMT and stuff like this,
Devin's
but
not that bad.
in the show, it's LSD, MDMA, psilocybin, and I think
Ayahuasca probably the last one.
peyote.
Peyote,
Can
I,
you
think
say-
I
Can
haven't
you
rewatched
say
the last
peyote,
one
I
yet.
think peyote is a stronger version of ayahuasca or something like that.
So leans. Can't remember. Yeah. Anyway,
I can't remember all myself.
but just the stories of LSD, and hopefully we don't get kicked off for too much of this talk. But
yeah.
I mean, they created these like the LSD and that they come up with
Mescaline,
it, and for years there it was.
Russia.
They were using it for psychology and therapy and stuff like. Well, trying to until what was it, Nixon.
It was Nixon,
With the
yeah.
war and whatnot. It's like,
Yeah.
people are chilling out too much. They're not agreeing to go to war. So now it's become a class 1 drug and all the rest. It's finally started to be researched again.
Yeah, because he just
and-
lumped everything in together. He just went, nope, everything, all bad.
Anything to get people to stop partying and go to war.
Yeah.
Was basically.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was a shot against all the protesters, everybody that was going against them. It's your Woodstock, it's your, everything that was going on. Massive protests at that time. All that Abbey Hoffman
And
crew.
and
and,
Summer
um,
Love and all the
Netflix
rest of it, and everyone was
yeah.
But the research they've done, once they are allowed to actually start bringing it back in, some of again, as you said, it's curing addictions. It's curing. I watched on the show. I had a quick look today. It was a fella with like severe OCD. One little mushroom trip.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Stuff like that, like trauma, as you said, PTSD, war, stuff. It's just one or two little sessions, and they're cured.
Gone.
They're cured.
Well, I'll give you the stats on it. It
Banded
was
a different brand.
in terms of addictions and whatnot. Now, this could be cigarettes, this could be D-rugs, this could be alcohol. And what's happening
I've seen
is
those, Jimmy.
allegedly, one dose and 80% of people are cured of their addiction.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
that's what it is. And then a second dose, and that number goes up to 90%.
Yeah.
So, and I think in the context of this, they were talking about America. 5
That's what they say,
million
MH.
people are addicted to opioids or something like that in America at the moment. I feel like that number would be bigger, but let's just say it's 5 million. That means that with one dose, if you could just give everybody this, one dose, 4 million people will be cured of their addiction. I mean, I think that's a win.
Yeah, I mean, they did explain, like, it is set and setting. So you've got to have the right mindset. You've got to be in the right setting. Like, obviously, there is recreational use of
You still have to be careful with these things.
If you go into it with the mindset that you're trying to kill yourself for some reason and all the rest of it in a medical setting, apparently this has just got such a huge success rate.
Yeah.
And they were using it for cancer patients too that have been given a terminal.
That's right.
A terminal time, obviously struggling with that thought, given this sort of stuff, and they're okay with just to help them through those last few months or years or whatever.
Their perspective on the whole thing has changed dramatically. Yeah.
And this is stories you hear for these people about what their trip does and what goes through their head while they do it, and to come out the other side, it completely changed human beings. So many of them are saying, well, there doesn't really have to be a reason for this. Like, if everybody could do this, their perspective on life and so much else would be amazing. And imagine like where we'd be as a human species if everybody just did this and changed their perspective on things.
Well, I think I can speak a little bit to that because What my understanding, and I'm no expert, but my understanding is when they take these things, it's rewiring the brain in several different ways. It's activating everything and firing up everything, so new pathways emerge and everything like that, right? Now, this is something that they used to do, like in ancient times, regularly. Right? So all of that, I'm a big fan of Greek mythology, and where they used to go and consult the oracles, things like that. There was a whole ritual connected to all these things. The Eleusinian Mysteries is another one. You would go in, you'd be part of a ceremony, there'd be drinking of wine and all this sort of thing, laced with mushrooms and whatnot about the area. And in the area, I forget the name of the cave, there's one cave, it might have been Delphi, say. In that area where one of the main oracles were, it's like point, the whole hillside, like everywhere around it is, you routinely get these particular mushrooms, which they say psilocybin. And that's what they're putting into the ingredients, into the goblets that they then drink and then go into the tunnel and then they emerge. And like there is a thing, there's a historical precedent. There's
so many cultures that did it.
I'm going to give one thing which may be slightly blasphemous, and every all my Catholic education is going to rear up against me here.
Is this the monkey thing?
This it could be. No, a fellow that we work with a big red beard, right? He once told me that he read something somewhere about a part of Jesus' life that is missing, kind of. So between the ages of, say, 12 and 20 or something like that. And this book apparently takes you through some historical evidence that he went down the Silk Road all the way to India and came back up, and on the way he was doing this sort of thing as well, and became enlightened. I don't know. There's one person, one time I heard this. You know, he's a very interesting person talking. We should probably have him on. But,
actually, he'd be
brilliant. But,
that was the what do they call it? Shit, I can't remember the name of it. Advanced Ape Theory? No, the can't remember the name of it.
That's right. You snap your fingers. That's what activates your brain. Let me turn on brain. Turn on. It's like those lights.
Where's the fucking mushrooms? I need. But the theory was, because I mean we've got this whole missing link kind of thing in our evolutionary stage, assuming you follow a Darwinistic kind of understanding.
The world was created 6,000 years ago.
On the same thing. Okay.
I still believe the Sumerian story, but anyways.
I lost it. I lost it for a second.
But the idea was that, like, because we sort of got this, well, not missing link, but there was a very quite a quick, slow evolution, as evolution would be, and then there was almost just like this quick fucking sprint to get to a certain point.
Right.
And so they had theories that, monkeys had started eating meat, so that influx of iron into the brain helped the brain grow and all this sort of stuff. But instead, it was more that the monkey started finding these mushrooms and eating the mushrooms,
and then
which then, as you said, it starts these neural links within the brain and whatnot, and that's what the
that could certainly be the case.
Well, they used to say it was red meat that helped.
Red meat was one of them, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. Yeah, that influx of iron and whatnot is what made the grain. Yeah.
Once we got to that stage, you were eating protein, and once you got to the stage of cooking,
welcome in everyone.
Because that changes.
Broke down the fat or something, which then fed the brain more or some shit.
Right,
yeah.
Again, I'm no expert, but it breaks it down in such a way that the proteins. That's what they say, and then that led to a jump in intelligence. And I mean, I can definitely see that. I can see that happening. In a sense that, there are certain stages. One of the stages in evolution was mastering fire. Once you master fire, what
I am reading everyone's comments. Just let the boys talk.
When you cook shit, it changes the food, which then gives you different chemicals, which is going to affect the brain. And then over time, it's going to develop. That makes sense. So in the same fashion as that, it must be true of the psychedelics, because the other one is ayahuasca. In the rainforest now, which is apparently, again, no expert, but 2 different ingredients in this that are on like fucking opposite sides of the Amazonian rainforest. Like they're not just growing together. But somehow they figured out if you put these 2 together. Ayahuasca is a completely different trip apparently to psilocybin. It's like it's scary. It stokes the fear.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a no. It's a DMT trip, I believe, but it's those 2 ingredients. One has it all within it, but your body breaks it down and sort of digest it kind of thing. So the other thing kind of just inhibits what breaks it down so that it can get into your system.
Yeah.
It's when you shit yourself. But, no, but apparently, like, it is you again. It's when people are having like group hallucinations. So, so this people are seeing the same thing. You start kind of thinking, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah.
Apparently, you send your mind into an alternate dimension, blah blah blah. But anyway, a lot of these people have like a bigger connection to nature and start meeting up with the little, the fairies and the nymphs and the gnomes and everything that live in there and whatever.
They're not in Brazil, they're in Ireland.
But yeah, I think that you come out of that with a bigger understanding for nature and your connection and all that sort of stuff as well. Like, again, you kind of do with psilocybin, but it's a completely different drug. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I've for a few years now, I've wanted to try psilocybin, and I'm not a D-rug.
Yeah.
I've always,
not for recreational, but just for
for
what it can give.
Yeah, I want to. Now it has to be like you said. In a perfect world, you'd have some clinical setting. You'd be like, make sure everything's all right.
Around the fire.
Yeah. Oh, there has to be a fire involved. Yeah. Ooh, pretty. But no, make sure you're in a safe space, and the kids obviously far away. Don't have that around, obviously. But I've wanted to try it now. The other thing I'll say is there's a woman, she only lives around the corner from us. Now we're through the school. Lovely woman. She does a lot of work with veterans. She was in the army herself, so we were talking earlier about veterans and things like that. And
for sure,
she's great for them. She goes abroad with them and takes them on ayahuasca trips.
Yeah, right.
And things like that. Yeah, and she does psilocybin dosing with them and everything like that. Really helps people. Really helps people. Now, I don't know the cost or what way it works with her, if it's just through the army or whatever it is in her particular scenario. She has got a YouTube page, and I've been thinking for the last 5 minutes, trying to think of the name of it. I think it's Curious Collective. It's gone out of my head. It's in my subscriptions. I apologise. I can't check now because that's on there. But, lovely woman, and she interviews people about brain health and trauma and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she takes these boys over to Brazil, and it obviously helps them.
Yeah.
She's doing good things with them.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, because you can't get this ayahuasca anywhere. You have to go meet up with a shaman in Brazil, and they'll sort you out. They'll let you know how much they think you should be taking because they know everything, and pretty much run you through the process and whatnot. And
this be there with you. These are the risks.
Yeah, sit there with you. They'll let you wander around the bush, and they'll follow you around and keep an eye on you and all that sort of stuff.
That's right.